and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is my number one,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and review of Lucky Numbers. Sarah, tell us a little bit about this game.
All right, Lucky Numbers is a number sequencing game where your goal is to be the first to fill your grid with randomly drawn tiles following the placement rules. All right, Will, do the rules change for two players?
Not as such as if there's specific rules. Basically what happens for different numbers of players is you have sets numbering 1 through 20, and based on the number of players, that's how many sets you use. So they can be any color, any number, as long as you have, in a two-player game, two sets of numbers 1 through 20. That's all.
So there is no bot in the game.
I mean, you could set up a Nanaman and play against him, but no.
That would be sad if you lost. But actually, I do believe there are solo rules in the game.
Basically what there are puzzles.
Yes.
So if you want to play in a solo version, you can have Nanaman watch you play.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go over some of the potential issues of the game at a two-player count. I think the only thing we found really is the fact that you're only using two sets of each number, that it's a tighter gameplay space.
Yeah, so as you play it with more players, of course, there's more numbers to be had. And so if you're counting on an 8, and it has to be an 8 in a two-player game, there's only two copies. And if one of them's out, you're waiting on one number out of the remaining tiles, which could mean you completely lose the game.
Right.
Because it's bad probability. Whereas in a four-player game, there's 4 8s to go around, if 8 happen to be that magic number you need.
Right,
So,
and because it's a 4x4 grid, so you only need 16 numbers out of the 20. So in a higher player count, there's more wiggle room, I guess, is what it is.
yeah, the space opens up for more players.
Yeah. So let's talk about what it does well. There is a good amount of, it's a light player interaction in that you are trying to do your best not to give the other player the tile that they want, but luck is still a huge factor, so there may be points where there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, in a lot of luck kind of based games like this, it's a make a decision, next person's turn, and there's very little interaction except maybe one number. The interesting thing about this is any numbers you don't use go out into the middle of the row for people to choose. Your opponent, as well as yourself later on.
Right.
So that level of interactivity, I feel, is a little bit higher than other lightweight games that you see that would fit this same type of game space.
Right. And it, as we said before, it's a tighter space with two players. So if you put a tile out on the board that you're like, okay, hopefully my opponent won't take it, you, I guess, can judge that better when there's only one other person versus 3 other people that you have to pay attention to.
Right.
So, yeah.
Of course, it can be a much higher competitive game, I would say.
Yes.
Like, what do you got over there? Like, I'm not going to tell you, but it's public information. Dang it.
Right. The good news is if you feel like you're not doing very well, which is me most of the time, it's a quick playing game. So at a 2-player count, it goes by really, really fast. So you could just play it again.
Yes.
So, all right, that's it for the 2-player experience. Really not greatly different from the other player counts, other than it could be a little bit tighter, a little more competitive. So let's go on to accessibility. Did you find that there were any challenges with this?
The only challenges anyone could actually see is if you have very extreme vision disability like myself. However, even knowing that, I know my grid's 4x4. And as long as I know what numbers are on the clovers, I didn't have any issues.
Right. I think the only thing I had an issue is because he'd have his board, you know, and then I would tell him where. So he's like, okay, if it's in the upper corner, he knows it goes like this. But he would put them upside down. And that's a very visual thing and a visual me issue. So I was always trying to straighten his clovers, and he wouldn't let me.
That was hilarious. So it does have an accessibility accessibility issue for those with OCD.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing against a person who doesn't have that.
Right.
And will use it to their advantage.
Yeah.
Because she was so distracted with my upside down and sideways clovers.
Right.
She couldn't focus on the game properly.
Right. But the nice thing is these clovers are a really good thick chipboard, and they are shaped like clovers. And as you can see, these are 2 of the colors. There's 4 colors, but color does not matter. And as Will mentioned earlier, if you can't tell the color differences, it doesn't matter. You literally need just 1 through 20 as a set and times the number of players. So 2 and 13 of a purple and a whatever is orange, you could put that together as one set and it's fine. Because once you start playing, color doesn't matter at all.
Color is not a gameplay mechanic. There's no special rule for, well, if you get this many yellows, you score this many extra points. No, that's the color is simply there for a convenience for those who can see it to make setup faster.
Right. And what we've done in the bag is, since we typically play it 2 players right now, the bag is pre-seeded with 2 sets, and then we had the other colors separated into bags, so they're easy to add whenever. But also want to say the text is really good. It's a black on the colored background. So again, very good accessibility. It's all open information. And again, since it's a 4x4 grid, I can just hand them to Will, and he can place them where he needs to on his grid. And
in whichever position I wish.
Yes, even upside down or sideways, or
because that's how clovers roll.
I guess so. All right, so in conclusion, would you recommend this for 2 players?
Absolutely. This is so lightweight but so engaging that it's a great filler. It's a great, even if you don't know what else to do, just play multiple games of it. It just really fires on that. I want a quick gaming experience, and this is it. So 2 players, perfect.
Our friends Noreen and Owen, since we started playing this in December, I think it was, they have over 100 plays. Some of them are with us because we play on Board Game Arena, but a lot of them, they just leave this set up on their table, and they'll play 2 or 3 games over the course of an evening, just by the waiting for food or whatever it is. And I would probably too, except we just always have so much to do.
I build Legos, so that's kind of bogging down our table space.
Yeah, but it's on Board Game Arena, so that doesn't take table space, so there's always that option. All right, moving on for accessibility. Do you recommend it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is hands down easy to see. Even if you do have vision problems, it's all open information. Yes. So just have the other person help you.
Yep. That's it then.
All right. Well, that's it for us for Rolling with 2. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2. That's TWO. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. On YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And why would you ever roll with just one when you can be Rolling with 2?